The Would Jesus Discriminate website also has the centurion servant passage from Matthew chapter 8 that I mentioned before, and reading their page reminded me that I didn't look at the version in Luke chapter 7, verses 1 through 10. Both Matthew and Luke have the centurion saying he isn't worthy to have Jesus under his roof. It's just that in Matthew, we have the centurion talking to Jesus directly. In Luke, some friends are relaying the messages. Both Gospels also have the centurion declaring, either in person or through friends, that all Jesus has to do is say the word and the servant/boy will be made well, and that Jesus marveled at the centurion's faith. The website points out that in Luke, the servant is called an honored slave, and to remember that in those days, even a wife was legally the property of her husband, so calling the servant a slave was not unusual or necessarily insulting. And being a slave, we can know that this man was not the centurion's son or anything like that. But since I have an interlinear New Testament copy, I wanted to show how even when speaking through his friends, the pattern of the centurion only using the word meaning boy to refer to the servant still holds. When we have the friends giving a direct quote from the centurion, we find boy used again. And we also have the centurion using one word, the one meaning boy, to refer to his potential lover, but using the other word, a generic word for slave, to refer to his mere slave. Once again, setting up a clear difference between the sick man and the other slaves. So the centurion himself never refers to his beloved servant as a slave. Other people do, and the nameless narrator who is writing Luke does, but when words are attributed to the centurion, it is always boy. So we have it clear that the sick man's legal status was that of slave, and that his master clearly held him in a special, more elevated position. And Matthew and Luke completely agree on this. And in the case of Luke, Jesus was already on his way to heal the servant. So instead of, I will come and heal him, we have, I am already on my way to heal him. So in both Matthew and Luke, we have a man seeking a healing miracle for his special young man, and Jesus being more than willing to heal the special young man. There is no judgment. It does seem pretty affirming. As a side note, I do find it interesting how my copy of the New Revised Standard Version uses servant for boy and slave for slave in both Matthew and Luke, as does my Harper Study Bible. And here are some snapshots of a Living Bible translation I have. It often seems as if the translators knew the huge difference but deliberately glossed over it, because even though this word technically means boy, the context, as the translators themselves show, this boy is not the centurion's son. He has an intimate relationship, but it is not by blood. What words do other Bible translations use for these passages? I don't have every translation in existence, but I am curious if anyone else would like to chime in if other versions also switch between slave and servant.